And we'll just simply start this out by having you state your name
Okay.
and basically kind of your little body of work and what you do, sir.
Okay. I'm Timothy Zahn. I've written 11 Star Wars books and about 40 other non-Star Wars science fiction books. Latest was Thrawn, picking up the character I created back in the 90s, who is now on Star Wars Rebels.
Because this is about the journey of Stephen and everything, I'll start off with, are you familiar with Stephen J. Simone?
Not really. We've met a couple of times at conventions, but our paths don't cross that often.
As an author, how difficult did you find it getting new readers and promoting your work when you got started with this? It's obviously not an issue now, but
Yeah. Well, when I started doing short stories for the various science fiction magazines back in the 80s. When I started out, there were probably 20 professional and semi-professional magazines. So I sold 10 to 15, maybe as many as 20 before my first novel was published. So I had a readership base of some sort just from Analog and Fantasy and Science Fiction, Isaac Asimov's science fiction magazine. So I already had a certain amount of recognition through those before I began my first, stole my first novel.
do you think the digital age of ebook has hurt print, or will we always have books?
I think we'll always have books, but things are so much in flux right now. I know a lot of people like ebooks. I bring a Kindle for trips, but I like paper books at home. I don't think print will ever completely go away. I hope not. I like books.
I'm the same way. I want to feel the page and smell it. My favorite thing getting a comic book is opening it up, smelling it, and then reading it. And I'm sure in the beginning this may have applied to you, but I'm not sure. I know now you use a lot of publishers, but do you feel there is more freedom through independent publishing?
Well, there's always the independent publishing, e-publishing, all that. All these things are open to writers now that I didn't have when I first started out. The problem, as always, is to raise yourself above the noise level of the internet and make yourself known and such. And conventions like this are a good way to do that. Go out, meet the readers, meet potential readers, be an ambassador for yourself. New writers have to do that. I still do that. So, yeah, that's an important part of the job.
What do you feel is the best part of being an author?
Getting to do what I love and make a living at it. For me, I haven't had, for many years, haven't had to do a day job and work writing as well. So I admire those who can juggle both of those. I've been very fortunate. Yeah.
What do you feel is the hardest part about being an author?
Translating the stuff you come up with here onto a page. It's easy to come up with ideas and okay, that would be a really good story, a really good book. Now you have to translate the thoughts into coherent English. You have to make characters the readers will care about, and all of the stuff that goes into crafting a story. So that's the really hard part, is to make your image come alive on the page.
Doing the conventions like you do and everything, just kind of tell me, is this something that really, it is one of those you do it to stay connected with the real people, to even get ideas, doing the convention?
Yeah, not so much ideas, but yeah, it's coming to connect with people, to meet the readers, as I said, to find out what people are maybe looking for the next book. Just to, as I said, an ambassador for myself out here, being available to people to ask questions, sign books, all of that. So it's the way to connect. There are a lot of ways to do so online nowadays, but in person is usually better for me.
And did you ever think getting involved with this and getting involved with your Star Wars books, which is what a lot of folks like myself know you for, that you would ever create such a character that has had such a draw as Thrawn? Did you imagine that this is something?
At the time when I was contracted to do the Star Wars books, nobody even knew if Star Wars fandom existed anymore. So, no, I mean, there was never any intent to, I'm going to create characters that will live forever. The intent was, I want to write a good story that people will enjoy. If more comes from that, that is great, but if I can just make good stories right now with good characters, that's always the goal. You never set out to write deathless prose or anything like that. The primary goal is to entertain people, and that's where I went for. The fact that Thrawn has lasted 25 years and now has a resurgence, completely unexpected but very gratifying.
Well, that is it. That's awesome. The only thing I have left to say is, man, I hope that turns into a movie. That would just be awesome.
That would be great. No idea what Lucasfilm has in mind, but yeah. I'm willing to give them.
Yeah.